Is he become the new Tulima
I don't
Donsela?
know. and I always ask them in council, in public platforms, please look at the track record of this great South African. Because he's a man that you cannot corrupt. He's the man that wants the rule of law to apply. That's the reason why he was treated in this manner by the national government.
What have you uncovered? What has he uncovered? Okay, I've been getting all the statements. I mean, I was so amused about the official that worked at the Joburg Fresh Produce Market that drove a Ferrari. I said, potatoes really pay.
Yeah, when this matter was brought to my attention, showing me the pictures when this jury, I said, it can't be possible. I said, are these people ashamed? What about the ones with the traffic department?
Oh, yes.
This lacks the officers working in the traffic department, living in estates which majority of the people cannot afford.
Exactly.
Someone working as a clerk in this, driving 500,000 rands cars, living in multi-million rands estates, but working as a clerk in the traffic department. So when this matters related to senior politicians in the country, now the senior politicians, what are you saying when your uncle or your child or whatever that lives this lifestyle, you know the type of work that they do? Don't you ask questions?
Yes.
Don't you ask questions? Yeah, that is really where the challenge is. Right now, he's working on just over 300 cases. And we conservatively estimate those cases will be in excess of 10 billion rands.
The value of the corruption.
I know. The senior people are resigning. As soon as they see the things coming, they resign. I've got 3 of them who've already resigned. But
if they resign, does that mean they can't be prosecuted?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Oh, okay. But it used to work like that.
No, they used to be moved, actually. In the past, they'll move them somewhere or maybe give them a diplomatic position to go and represent us in the US or somewhere.
So you're going to pursue them even though they've resigned?
Even if they run away from this country to run somewhere else, we will get them. We will get them. And I promise people of this country that wait until 2019 we take over the national government. And this must be the first priority, to recover these monies.
Over 10 billion, that's 1/6 of the city's budget. And I think it's when you look at it within that context that you start understanding the enormity of this corruption.
Yeah, but then you ask yourself, where was the leadership? Where was the leadership? Can I tell you something, Rosemary and the listeners? Most of these cases, reports were prepared by independent companies. We paid them to do this report. Then once the report is given with the recommendation, it'll just be put aside. And life carries on. This person will even the person to be prosecuted will actually get promoted.
Well, this is...
No, you think it's a movie. This is not The Bold and the Beautiful or Movango. No, we don't.
Or Godfathers.
Or Godfather. No. We're not in a Sarafina cast.
This is an interactive show. So there's people, you're very popular clearly with the Kofifi listeners because you're being inundated with messages here. We'll get to them. But the corruption, but then I looked at your SMME section and I said, yes, this is a business person. But for me, because I'm one of those people who believe that we need to be nurturing more entrepreneurs and fewer job seekers, but rather job creators. And I want you to talk to the Kofifi listeners about the SMME hubs, because on the 6th of May, Elias, one of our presenters, is going to be hosting an entrepreneurship workshop here in Westbury for young people primarily. That's wonderful. And so if you can tell us more about those hubs. I was really impressed with your figures. 820 businesses per month, a 50% increase.
Right. We're not hoping by the end of the first year, in a year's time, we'll have 14 of those hubs, 2 in each of our 7 rooms. We give entrepreneurs support in terms of helping them to be able to put together their business plan, look at the cash flow, because a lot of small businessmen and women go out of business because of a lack of understanding to understand the ratios between whether these are sales and profits and so forth. We give that type of guidance, indicate to them opportunities within government. You should give them opportunities within the private sector, because for us, more especially as a new government, with the inner city revival project, where I'm going to be partnering with the private sector to build and turn the city into a construction site. But they will do it on the basis of making sure that small businesses are given opportunities to be service providers or some of the opportunities. But it's not up to me to determine who must be given opportunities. It's up to you. What we are saying is we will let you know these are the opportunities. You need training or artisan type training, because as part of the construction industry, we will immediately employ lots of our people. We will immediately create an opportunity for our people to be suppliers of, be furniture, be carpenters,
building materials,
and so forth. But this can only happen, Rosemary, if we have the rule of law. For me, the rule of law, it's crucial for everything else.
Yeah, we coming to
forget
that
about
one.
it. If we're not serious about bringing back the rule of law in this country, forget about it. And I'm saying to people of this country, in this city, if you believe that you want to run an economy in chaos, then you must expect those consequences, because you're not going to grow an economy in a chaotic environment. Because the business community wants to invest, more especially in South Africa, but they want stability, they want the city,
Certainty.
the certainty, they want cleanliness, they want public safety, and all that. But so for me, the rule of law, it's one of the key priorities that we are missing on as a
That
country.
brings us to the return of the. I wanted to talk about your partnership, because you were talking about the private public interaction, and I wanted to talk about the early learning childhood centers that where you're partnering with Hollard Insurance Company. But now I want to talk about the return of the municipal courts. But because we were talking about housing, and you know that the Westbury people, they take no prisoners. They say,
I know.
hello, Mr. Mayor. What about Westbury housing? Did you forget us by mistake? Don't forget the gunmen in Westbury and Nuclear and Bosmont. Well, I think there's some error here. Mayor Mashaba for president.
No,
That's what this
I have a huge responsibility to turn the city, because if we work together to turn the city around, we'll be able to drive the economy of South Africa. Then we leave national politics to Musi Maimane and others.
Yeah, but now our Westbury people, they because the state of the housing, especially the flats, it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking.
I've been there. I've been in these communities. That's the reason why yesterday when I was talking to
you decided you'll come here.
Let me come out to assure the
now
residents.
I've given you a
and
DVD.
more especially this community. I know it's a community that has contributed immensely to my current position. As much as I can't go to house for people to tell me who they voted for, but I can assure you, I know people of this community, your listeners of this radio station, have enormously contributed to ensuring that I become the mayor of the city.
Well, Kofifi listeners, props. Ask about one of the things you spoke about in your speech is the revitalization of the CBD and the allocation of money for Joshco for social housing. Now, people are very happy about that, but they're asking, and this is very important, they want to know if you are going to be increasing the number of houses in the of accommodation in the inner city, what about schools?
Oh, yeah, no. Look, please be aware, and I think the residents need to know this, that the schooling system, it's a competency of national government. And when you look at the state of our schools, public schools in particular, I am sure you must be aware that today, 80% of public schools in this country are dysfunctional.
Yeah. It's only the Model C ones that are still hold, and even there some are collapsing.
In fact, they also want to collapse them.
Yes.
Because they want the whole systems. I think I mean, the other day in Soweto, realized schools are closing one after the other. In the meantime, there's a shortage of schools
everywhere else. They've been overburdened.
Communities in Soweto and others have got to take their children leaving 5, 6 in the morning in this dangerous transport mode to try and take them to the sentence and everywhere else, because parents want the best education for their children. But now, why is this happening 22 years in our democracy when our communities are avoiding education in their own communities? But you know what? But
sometimes I wonder, do you think allowing the country to collapse is deliberate because it's just easier to loot when there's lawlessness?
Well, can give you an example of the finance department in the city of Johannesburg. There's billing queries that you are experiencing, I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm sure you've... the person who was in charge of that is under suspension right now.
Oh.
Yeah, now suspended. And for corruption.
Oh.
And then this is the person supposed to be fixing this.
Yes.
So obviously, as a functioning system, it's not good for them.
Oh. So they thrive in chaos.
They thrive in chaos. They don't care about the welfare of our people out there.
Now, tell me
so these are the things. And now I look at education. I look at public policing in this country. Why would we have the type of leadership that we have in really serious institutions like policing, education, and so forth? Because people are benefiting out of this
chaos.
This chaos.
Now
there's the hijacked buildings in the city of Johannesburg.
Why was it allowed to happen?
That's the reason why some of the cases that I've given to the Hawks already last year, involving some of the senior people that are supposed to be responsible for having law and order.
They're part of the hijacking syndicate.
They are benefiting out of this chaos.
Tell me about the return of the municipal courts.
Yeah, no, we right now are busy with 5 municipal courts. Our legal department is busy working with the Department of Justice to train our own prosecutors.
Do you have any idea when this will actually come into?
I think I would really say I would love it to be yesterday.
Yes.
I've been pushing our guys, but all the time my legal people says we're not yet ready. But they've already identified the 5 of them. I've already engaged personally. I've engaged the Judge President Lambo about this. Very excited with this. He says, you know what, the Justice Department will give you support to open more, because so that you as a city can make sure that you can deal with bylaw infringers. And so one of these days we will launch them, and I can assure the residents of the city so that we can speedily prosecute those who break the laws. People building in the city. You know, the other day, I'm sure you must have heard with JMPD and South African Police Services going into Rosettenville.
Yes,
you go into a property, you think as far as we're concerned as a city, supposed to be only one house. You go there at the back, 15, 20 other rooms are being rented.
You know what?
And then how did these people build?
One of our colleagues here actually came to me a couple of days ago complaining about that in her neighborhood, where, well, I'm going to say the nationality of the person. A Nigerian has built a whole lot of rooms, and she wanted to know, what does she do? So I said to her, I remember when our executive mayor was on the campaign trail, that's one of the things that he raised very, very sharply, that people are putting up these illegal structures and devaluing people's properties, and that he's going to be acting against this.
You can imagine as a city, I'm under impression catering services for 20 houses. In the meantime, it's 20, it's 100. That's why our infrastructure
is collapsing.
It's collapsing. And you know what? I've said to people of Johannesburg, I cannot wait for those courts to start functioning, so that we can go and break down these structures. They must not. It's too late for them to apply. We've got to go and build a breakdown. I said to MMC Ngobeni, I said, MMC, please, I want you to start buying equipment to go and break. And because the day when you are given the permission by the court, I want you to lead a team of people who are going to break down the structures.
Ooh.
So that people must understand that this is not a jungle.
Yes, we've got laws.
We've got laws.
And they must be acted on.
Yeah, so they cannot tell me that they didn't know that that we needed building plans to build.
South Africa's become very good at passing legislation, but not enforcing legislation. But Mr. Mayor, the Kofifi listeners are not going to forgive me if I don't go through at least 50% of the stuff that's coming in. I've got pages already.
Okay, please go.
And it hasn't given me a chance to sift through it. So, oh God, it's still coming in. So there's somebody who wants your phone number. Excuse me. Listeners, please excuse me. Good afternoon, Auntie Rosemary. Please address the question to the mayor to come and address the forgotten community of Davidsonville on the housing matter. This community is in need of houses. Please, a concerned citizen. Thanks. Hi, Mr. Mashaba and Rosemary. I have a big problem. Me and my family stay with an uncle who makes his flat a lolly lounge. You do know what a lolly lounge is, eh? When I talk, he says we must move. But where are we going to? Again, this is a housing issue. I applied in 1996 for a house, but I'm still waiting. Please give me my own place. We even phoned the police, but they never come. This person's from Aldo's. Mr. Mayor, you have to investigate the Pennyville housing in Ward 68. Lots of irregularities, wrong people occupying houses. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We at Dulcie Flats are appreciative of this, but you have one concern for the last 4 weeks. We have not had any collection of refuse for 4 weeks. Don't you think we are the forgotten
you'll give
people?
Me the details of this,
Don't you think we are the forgotten people? Because cleanliness is next to godliness. Dear Mr. Mayor, please consider a budget for 35 and older, like cleaning police stations or cutting grass, the unemployment problem. Hi there, I'm so thankful for the show you are having today with the mayor. Very enlightening. Funny thing is that people getting paid for doing jobs that clearly aren't qualified for even love, but people like the young man in Annandale funding and fighting for a drug-free society by himself aren't even able to get their project funded. I don't know what this is about, but I'll find out. And hopefully the city can partner with, because you know the drug issues are... Mr. Mayor, will the clinics open 7 days a week now? You did address this in your speech. If you could just explain, please.
Okay, clinics, what happened is when I took over the administration in the second week, during the campaign trail, Rosemary was touched by a community in Rodiport, 10 minutes away from here, in a settlement called Princess. A young girl of 14 suffering from 2 feet a day, not been to school in 18 months. Lovely young girl. And when I went into the family's homestead, was shocked by the conditions. And then talking to everyone, 2 of her siblings also beginning to develop the same type of sickness. And then I started talking to people in the community, discovered the sickness is so prevalent. And some of the family members lost some of the people in the process. Taking over. And they said, no. They've got a clinic in the Princess operating from 8 to 4 o'clock, Monday to Friday. And the queue, people had to queue from 5 o'clock, and you'll be lucky if you are seen by 4 o'clock. I then said, no, this can't be right. I don't have money to build another clinic, but here's a current clinic. Why don't you extend it, operate on a 24-hour basis? Why must a clinic close when a community is so sick? So I then managed to get money from the advertising budget of the previous mayor, because obviously didn't know that he was going to lose the elections. And he had this massive budget of international travel. So I said, no. Please, let's put some of this money, divert it from marketing. We've got no one to market when our people are dying.
You must market by delivery.
when our people are dying. And we 31st of October last year, we opened my MMC of health with Dr. Bismillah from health, did a fantastic job, put together a team, and we started operating. We now operate from 7:30 to 10 p.m., and then we operate on Saturday and Sunday as well.
And public holidays.
Public holidays. We ran that as a pilot, and then now with the February, when with the adjustment budget, we've now extended to 5 more clinics. So every year we will, because it's not just really about opening the doors.
It's about budgets as well.
Yes, and also getting the right personnel. Because it's a question of making sure that when you go into a clinic or you interact with government, one motto that I'm articulating is about the service with pride. Let us treat our people with respect. These are the people who have given us the honor to serve them. It's a privilege. But obviously the previous administration had given an impression that public service is about doing public service, a favor. That's why you'll go into a government office, you get there, they don't care, they're eating.
You have to grovel. You have to grovel. You there as a beggar.
So we've got now, as I'm talking to you, we've got now 6 clinics that are operating extended hours.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. And as we get more money, we get... the capacity every year, we will keep on
extending the service.
My wish during my tenure, we've got 81 clinics at the moment in the city of Johannesburg.
Okay, Brenda.
If everything goes well, I would like to get to a situation where we can throw away the keys of this clinic so that we can run them on the 24-hour
bed.
Because we're not going to have the money to build more clinics. Yeah. Rather, what we do, the existing infrastructure, let's get the best out of it.
Maximize it.
Yeah.
See the businessman. Brenda, I hope that answered your question. The person on e-tolls are not a municipal competence. That's a national issue. Good day, Honorable Mayor Mashaba. When are we going to get our title deeds in New Clare, Westbury, Corrie, Aldos, Boksburg, Bosmont, Rivoli? Thanks and God bless. I know title deeds is one of your pet projects.
Absolutely. And I fail to understand why this title deeds project was never fast-tracked. Honestly, I find it difficult. But I think, you know why? It's because, obviously, the previous administration wanted people to be dependent on government. When you have an independent community, they're not dependent on government.
They can tell you to walk.
That's why President Zuma made it clear some years ago he does not hate the so-called clever blacks.
He does hate clever blacks.
No, he doesn't. It's such a tragedy that you can have a president of the country that he does not want to see advancement of his own people. And now it's another tragedy. So
Mayor, I can't keep up here.
So the title deeds issue, it's about giving people that personal freedom, giving them the dignity, knowing that this is my property. I own it. But
you frame your title deed.
So that is why announced yesterday that already ever since we've taken over, we've already issued 2,800. There's a further just over 1,184 of those title deeds that I'll be giving out within the next 60 days. And we will keep on processing them, because in some of the communities, yes, we're going to find some challenges, but they're not insurmountable challenges. Where you find, obviously, the original owner it's passed on, and you've got other family members, the siblings, and there's conflicts and so forth. We'll put lawyers to ensure that we resolve this, so that let the family own this. Obviously, we can't prescribe to you as government who must have ownership. But what we'll do is we can assist in ensuring that we bring some sense, so that ultimately the family are the actual owners of this property.
They're telling me we only have 5 minutes, but can you ask if we can please have more time? Because, the listeners here, this other person is, don't forget about us in Coronationville. Good day, Mayor. I want to know, you never mentioned Eldorado Park for title deeds. You've already spoken about that. Please intervene in job creation for our colored people. Youth, help us fight the drugs in our communities. Anonymous. Applause to you, Mr. Mayor. In my opinion, you are going in the right way. Don't let the detractors impact on energy. From Neil Sali. Good job, Mr. Mayor. From Clinton Davids. Good day, Rosemary and Honorable Mayor. God bless you for caring for your fellow nation. I hope I asked the right question. Are we also going to get title deeds for the flats in El Dorado Park? God bless you for the goodness of your heart. Much appreciated. Oh, Cecilia. Cecilia is a coffee addict.
Okay.
There's a lot on title deeds here. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I have to talk on the title deeds because I've had a recent case. I don't know if you know that Kofifi FM, to some extent, we even play the role of social worker, where we community members will come in. They come in.
Community stations must play that role.
We've had people complaining about a certain gentleman that works in your title deeds office, that this gentleman has even made, I'm being very generous when I call him a gentleman, if the allegations against him are true, where apparently he said he's God. He's called himself God.
God.
Basically.
God in the real sense of...
as in the supreme being.
Oh my goodness.
That basically he will decide whether people will get their title deeds or not. And I encouraged the person that had raised this issue to write out an affidavit, which they did, and they went to the police station, had it endorsed, and they sent it to Tony in your office.
Is it? Okay.
And I hope, well, they named the gentleman concerned in that affidavit. I know they're saying that we've run out of time, but what are they saying, Camry? Mr. Mayor, will you carry on with us after the news, please?
I'm happy to give you another half an hour or so. if management of Kofifi FM wants to give us that opportunity.
Well, the Kofifi listeners don't want to let you go. It's still pouring in here. But clearly, the title deeds issue here is coming out really strongly.
I tell you, title deeds are not an issue. The issue that's ravaging our communities are drugs, unemployment of our youth.
Yes, we're going to talk about that. I think now we're breaking for news? Not yet. Okay. I know that in your budget speech, your State of the City address, you actually spoke about the issue of rehabilitation for drug addiction. This is a very, very important issue to our listeners. Can you tell us a little bit more about the city's initiatives in this regard?
I think, Rosemary, this matter, because of the high rate of unemployment, families breaking up, we need immediate intervention measures. Obviously, we've started as government last year already, re-established the K9 narcotics unit, and that unit is doing a fantastic job in ensuring that we can eradicate this. But
what is the K9 unit, Mr. Mayor?
It's a specialized narcotics unit that ensures that we target directly these drug dealers, and we're not obviously going for the users. We're going for the real dealers,
the suppliers.
But obviously, the challenge I'm sitting with is the support of provincial and national government, because we don't have prisons, we don't have the courts that deal with it. We can arrest and then we pass it on to the province and national, and that is where I'm really very concerned about our success rate. But we're not going to stop with us. That's why right now you will see in my budget, which I'm presenting in 3 weeks' time, we're going to be converting some of our clinics as intervention measures, where we'll put in professional people with the capacity to deal with helping our youth with drug addictions.
Will the clinic, like for example, Westbury Clinic and all those, can they be?
In fact, the MMC, Palazzi says she will give us the names. We've asked her to target clinics where
we know there's this problem.
So the Westbury, for me, it's not negotiable. It has to really be one of the clinics where we put in professional people that can help these young people to get out of this devastating, tragic system.
Mr. Mayor, we have to break for the news. We have a lot to talk about, and we're coming back, and it's still coming in fast and furiously.
This is Kofifi FM 97.2. Kofifi FM, where it all began.
Kofifi FM 97.2 is where
Coffee FM News.
In our news headlines this afternoon, Kulini murder accused had told cops that teen fell from van, and Mayor of Johannesburg Herman Mashaba says if government fails to perform, the whole country will suffer. I'm Eka Davids with the news at 2 on Kofifi FM 97.2. Good afternoon. A packed Kulini Magistrates Court heard how the two men accused of murdering a 17-year-old boy reported his death to police and then rushed off. These and other
interview with the executive mayor of our city, the city of Joburg, Mr. Herman Mashaba, is very obligingly agreed to spend some additional time with us. As those of you who were listening yesterday when I was doing an analysis of his State of the City address, He volunteered on air when I said to him, can he look at the plight of housing? And that's when on air he said, look, I'm coming there tomorrow and I'll spend an hour with you. Now we've managed to yank his arm out of the socket. Well, it wasn't that hard, actually. I said to him, the Kofifi listeners have a lot to talk with you about. Please don't go. And he said, no problem. So now, the title deeds issue, it's from the messages that you got, it's a burning issue. And I know your energy. Actually, it amazes me that you still have energy. I don't know where's this fountain that you drink from every morning. Because I know this morning, before you came here, you were interviewed by almost 10 radio stations already. And Kofifi listeners, he's actually spent the most time with us. We, the ones that are having the longest interview with him. Aren't we privileged? And that's because it's Conversations with Rosemary. Now, Mr. Mayor, when you were campaigning, one of the things you were really ardent about is the issue of unemployment and the need to grow the economy of the city of Joburg to 5%. Now, here we are, junk status, through no fault of yours, but how does this affect your ability to realize this burning desire of yours to get Joburg working?
Rosemary and the listeners, I think people have to be aware, as a municipality, unlike the province and national government, collection of money for them or provision of services is money that they collect from the taxes. They don't have to.
Easy.
Whereas, as when you drive, you're running a municipality like the city of Johannesburg, 80 to 85% of the revenue, I have to raise it myself, or ourselves as a city, through obviously selling you electricity, water, refuge, and rates and so forth. So we've got to raise the money ourselves. Now, some of it we need to go out there in the market to go and borrow money. Now, you can imagine now, every time you go and borrow money or issue bonds, when your credit rating is not good, unfortunately, it costs you more. So in the city of Johannesburg, 16, 17 billion rands of debt, every percentage, it's millions. So, and unfortunately, South Africa right now, being under junk, it's not good for the city of Johannesburg. No fault of us, the city of Johannesburg, because President Jacob Zuma, in the middle of the night, decides to change the Minister of Finance. This is not joke. It's a reality. With what agenda?
I wonder why change them in the middle of the night.
And also, I think he honestly deserves to take us into his confidence as to the rationale behind changing the minister with international reputation and integrity. Change him in the middle of the night, put in someone that everyone believes is a Zupta man as a minister of finance. Unfortunately, the world is watching. Credit rating agencies are watching this and are saying this is unacceptable. So, unfortunately, we will suffer as a country, because at the end of the day, for us to deal with this 170 billion rand shortfall, as we collect money, we need to go out and borrow more money so that we can provide services to the city of Johannesburg. So that's really where the impact is going to come. But I think, for me, we have to do what we can do. We know certain things we cannot control, but those that we can control, we have to control them. But our success is dependent utterly, totally, on making sure that we take unpopular decisions, like this question of the rule of law. We must not negotiate with anyone.
But that's not an unpopular decision.
No,
the rule of law, it makes it safer for us. And when you are safer, you are happier.
Absolutely.
And when you are happier, you are more productive.
Well, that is why I could not understand, Rosemary. I'm sure you know from last year, 1st of December, when I made the statement about the porous borders and saying, please let us save this country. Obviously, ANC government, including the Minister of the Home Affairs, the current Minister of Finance, just making statement that I'm xenophobic, including some of the analysts.
No, but this is this is
I
the
just could
problem
not
I
understand, and being expected to apologize. But I said, what have I got to apologize about? Yes, it's a
the truth.
reality. It's not going to go away. If we believe we want to just put our heads in the sand, this country will suffer. We have the responsibility for future generations. We cannot let our children inherit a worse environment than what we inherited. Look at the city of Johannesburg. Just 20 years ago. Just picture that city 20 years ago.
Elof Street was the high street
Oh my
where you
God.
went to buy your exclusive clothes. And now
It turned into a slum in just 20 years.
I just don't
Why?
believe.
Because of the breakdown of the rule of law. Because then you have government leadership benefiting out of crime. So that's where we have an issue. So when you raise these issues, then the people call you names. But fortunate enough, you know what? The truth will always prevail. Because I've said this many times, and I'm saying to you now that those that believes that this country must collapse because of the rule of law, I will be the last South African to accept it. And one thing for sure is that if obviously I don't have public support, then I can assure you things can only get worse. You can't really get the country to get better under chaos.
No.
No. South Africa is not going to be an exception.
No.
It'll be worse than Zimbabwe.
Mr. Mayor, as we're very popular with Kofifi listeners. Oh my word! Now there's a phone call coming in. I don't know what to do here. Mr. Mashaba, I'm jumping for joy now. You're a godsend. We'll continue to pray that God gives you the strength to keep up the good work. The next message, I'm not sure what this person is talking about. Someone killing their youth. Is this a drug or something?
Is he not talking about drugs and
I
this
don't know if it's the name of a drug or
human trafficking?
Is it a name of a drug? But I can't say their names on air, unfortunately. Listener, I will show it to, I don't know where this is or who these people are, but I can't say it on air. Excuse me. My name is Chantel from Bella Vista, and this community would like you to come here so you can hear our struggles, long grass, drugs. People are being put out of their homes by Nigerians. There again. Mr. Mayor, we need you to come to Bella Vista. Rosemary, can I have your number and the mayor's number, please, Cecilia? Cecilia, you know where we are. Come and visit us. Amen. Lord Jesus blessed us with a true leader. I seen you cleaning up Lenasia. Wow, which mayor has done that? Never before. Will Claremont also get their title deeds? Have been staying in my flat for 16 years, still waiting for our title deeds. Dear Mr. Mayor, there's truly a need to look into service delivery and the billing section. As you heard, the mayor said that they've suspended the person in charge of billing for corruption. So maybe things will improve. Good day, Mr. Mayor.
Not maybe. They are going to improve.
Okay. You know, the envelope I gave you, it's a lady that has a problem with water, her water bill. Now, I had your MMC Dagada here last week because previously policy was that you had to pay 50% of your arrears before they'll reconnect you and then you pay off the rest. And I was like, but if I had the money, I would have been paying. So, but Dr. Dagada actually explained that policy doesn't exist anymore. That now you go in, they sit down and they work out your budget with you and then determine how much you can pay. This person says that they've been going to the city and they're telling them that they must pay the full amount. So that's why I've given you that. I've given your envelope to the mayor himself. So you are being dealt with at the highest level, dear. Aren't you just so lucky?
No, it's not a question of being lucky. This is what our community deserve.
Good day, Mr. Mayor. What's happening in Corrie Houses, Joe Slovo Park? For who is the house? Or this person wants to know who are the houses at Joe Slovo Park for. Hello, Mr. Mayor. Please, we need assistance with a clinic in Westbury. The staff are rude. And that clinic is new. You opened it about 3 months ago. They think they're doing us a favor. The clinic is supposed to open at 7:30. The staff only comes in at 7:25. First have their breakfast, and then they are very rude.
Okay.
Mr. Mashaba, can you do a national database search, especially RDP housing? How can people occupy 3 houses? They come from other places and get houses here. That is unacceptable. Example in Katrada Park. If you've got proof of this, listener, I suggest that you actually do an affidavit, and then we'll hand it over to the city. Afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Rosemary. As a Kofifi lander in the older age group, I need to know why it is that housing for colored people is so neglected. Our conditions are cramped and housing is not available, and those who are fortunate enough to own or buy a home. Also for pensioners looking for accommodation at old age homes, the waiting lists are up to 5 years. It is disturbing and frustrating. That's what we hear when asking when will anything be available. Please, Mr. Mayor, we need your help. The mayor, can you please get someone to cut the grass next to the police station? Early in the morning, we walk past there and there are robbers. I don't know which police station. The person sending this didn't say which police station. Good afternoon, sir. Only a question. Why is it so hard to find a job if you're over 50? That one, I don't know if the mayor can answer that one, please. We need jobs for people 50 and older. It's true. There is an ageist attitude. We're always hearing about the youth.
Let me give you unemployment stats so that you have a sense. The biggest casualties of this high rate of unemployment are our youth. Unemployment nationally let's bring it down back home in the city of Johannesburg, running at about 31-32% of everybody. Of the 31-32%, 50% of them are youth. And of the 50% of the youth, 65% are black and colored youth. So there's and I'm not raising this issue to say that the older people don't deserve, but the biggest crisis, the people that our new democracy has failed, our black youth. Okay. And I think, for me, Rosemary, I wish and I'll work hard towards this, that we attain this before I pass on, that I can one day pass on in a country where all of us are South Africans, because every time I hear we've got black, we've got coloreds, Indians and whites, it doesn't sit well with me.
No,
because
we should be South African first and only.
No, we cannot continue with that national party apartheid legislation.
But on the contrary, it's getting worse.
No,
because now there's even percentages being put
because
to
it's promoted. In fact, the ANC government is pushing this classification even worse than Verwoerd ever imagined. But
Good day,
how can you ever build an inclusive society when government promotes this on a daily basis? To government papers that you've got to fill, black, colored.
But even in terms of ownership of businesses, they've now worked out that white people 9%, colored people 7%, Indian people 2%. And I was asking the former Deputy Minister of Finance, Mcebisi Jonas, I said, so if I own a business and I'm ready to expand, and it means that the colored share of business now exceeds 7%, are you guys going to stop me from growing my company? Because it means if I was going to grow it, I'm going to employ people. But it means those people I was going to employ, I'm not going to employ because your racial demographics have said I can't own anymore. But before
I think we need to really, I think we should not really run away and put our heads in the sand with matters like this, because these are the matters that will build an inclusive society. That what do I do in my family when I have so-called black or colored?
I'm a South African.
No, yes, absolutely. So
Anyway.
it's an issue where we can address issues on the basis of economic circumstances of our communities. Because if someone has been economically deprived, yes, we need intervention as government. Unapologetic. That's why yesterday I came up very, very clear around making sure that we're a pro-poor government. We are a government for the forgotten people. Forgotten people of nuclear, forgotten people of everywhere. Elders. But is it necessary for us to classify them? I don't know how.
Mr. Mayor, it's just pouring in. It's pouring in. I'm going to print these and we'll send them to your
That'll
office.
be wonderful. That'll be wonderful.
Good day, Mr. Mashaba. Awesome to hear you again on Kofifi FM. Sir, could solutions be found in the hospitals, or hospitals are not a local government competence, unfortunately? Mr. Mayor, informal settlement. Kathrada Park seems to be a pit stop for our neighboring provinces. What about our people on the waiting list, and what do we do? Please excuse me. It's the RDP houses. Mr. Mayor, please see how does it look in Claremont. Good day, Mr. Mayor. I just want to find out how we make an application 6 years ago for a place at an old age village, but they refused us. We sold our house in 2008. They said we benefited from council, so therefore we cannot get a place. Mr. Mayor, over 200 shanty houses were built in Coronationville. I don't know the reason, but there's 2 Lord Governors who are selling those houses at 4,000 Rand apiece. Can you please check this? Hi, Rosemary. The story on the young man funding a rehab by himself. His name is Julio Geduld, and the project he's running is Vision for You. This project is really helping a lot of young people in Annandale and surrounding community. This person is going to give us the details, and I don't know whether it will be your Department of Health or Social Development.
I think, please, if you do me a favor, get someone to put it them together, and then I will pass them to the various departments to attend.
Good day, Mr. Mashaba. My mom is 66, and she's still working in order to look after my late sister's kids. She pays rent of 5,400. I've been phoning Josh Coe in Braamfontein, and I've been emailing, and still no luck. I would like to get her own place. There's lots. So there's, you know what's nice here? I like the way people are addressing the problems to you. But as much as we're reading them out here, I think the best is if we print everything and then we'll submit it to your office so that it can go to the relevant departments.
And I think, but Rosemary, I need to caution our residents out there that outline the kind of budget I'm currently sitting with, that it's impossible to address these issues overnight. But we're going to do our best. And I'm saying to the communities, please hold us accountable. But please bear in mind that we have a massive backlog. Massive, not... we're sitting, as I say, I keep reminding, we're sitting with 170 billion rands of backlog, with only 10 billion rands revenue available to us. So we need to get this economy to function, because once the economy starts functioning, people will be independent from government, and we'll collect more money so that we can service our people. We will run a government where we're no longer stealing money. We laugh about this, but these are because this money was being diverted from providing services going into the pockets of bureaucrats and these corrupt officials. And
But Mr. Mayor, a lot of the issues being raised here, that's why I'm so happy that the municipal courts are going to be coming back. A lot of them are about enforcing bylaws, and a lot of them are about the city being made aware of transgressions that are going on, like the 200 shanties that have been built in Coronationville and being sold for 4,000 Rand. I'm sure your office, I don't know if your offices are aware of that. So a lot of it is actually raising awareness. And I think it's really sad that a 66-year-old woman who's supposed to be resting now is having to struggle like this to get shelter. Mr. Mayor, please see how does it look in Claremont. And this person has said, oh God, oh no, my word, the pictures are really awful. But what's that now? Please, the others, there's lots there. Good day, Mr. Mashaba. This is just a gesture. There are so many open vacant stands that can be checked out if it's suitable. Okay, this is about, I know you spoke about this. This person's talking about vacant stands that are available that could be used to address the backlog. And you did speak about this in your budget speech about the issue about
service lands.
Yes, if you could talk a little bit about that.
We've identified the land in the 3 regions, and what we intend doing, instead of building these RDP houses, we'll take some of the budget towards servicing this land so that there are roads, electricity, sewer, and water. and give our people title deeds. Then you can build
your
because
stand.
You can build whatever.
You'll
Unlike
own
in
the stand.
Yeah, own the stand, and you can build. At least there's infrastructure, sewer.
The most
there's
expensive stuff is done already.
It is done. Unlike where in some of the 181 informal settlements, people don't have. There are no roads. Because people live on top of one another.
Because it's not planned.
It's not really planned. So we are saying it's an appealing to our residents. Please allow us to ensure that we service the stands and allow you to build your own. Because as government unable to build we don't have enough money to build RDP houses. But by so doing, we'll be able to actually address the plight of most of our people.
Mr. Mayor and Rosemary, the rule of law is unpopular and distasteful for slumlords and so-called drug lords and low heartless criminals from every form of government and sphere of our society. So clearly there's support for your initiative. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for all you have done for our people. Can you please come and address the forgotten community of Dalmore Park? That's the East Rand. I'm sorry, listener, but Dalmore Park falls under Kuruleni. And the executive mayor present today, Herman Mashaba, is the mayor of Joburg. Praise God for sending someone like you to fight the drug devils. They are destroying our youth, breaking our patents heats. Thank you for working on the unemployment of our youth. Much appreciated. Dear Mr. Mayor, my friend is staying in a flat in Nuclear. She's 65 years of age and wishes to stay in a village for the age, but there's so much red tape. Please send one of your officers. They can't climb the stairs anymore because they're 65 years old. And they were told that they must first pay all outstanding monies owing on the flat. Please advise. Thank you. There's clearly there's a lot coming in here, Camry. There's others over there. I don't know. I don't know. It's just.
So you can imagine. You ask yourself, do I sleep? And you can imagine we're just dealing here with listeners of
yes.
Now you can imagine the 5 million.
Multiply it, yes,
So you can imagine and unfortunately, some of the community, that's why every day we've got protests. And some of the protests are politically engineered.
Most of them are, but we see that. And the people who actually have real issues.
Because obviously the idea is to ensure that they embarrass us, collapse our government, so that our people must see us to be a government that's failing. Whereas they fail for 23 years to provide anything meaningful. And
do you ever just hold your head in despair and just say, I can't do it anymore?
No, I cannot afford that. I think.
I mean,
it's not an option. It is not an option. We've got to soldier on and ensure that we take our communities with us. Fortunately enough, majority of the people do understand. Let me just give you an example. You look at the influence of COSATU within the government. One of my biggest fears when I took over this government
was the unions
under COSATU with Nehawu. I thought will be sabotaged left, right, and center. Majority of employees of the city of Johannesburg says you're not going to do it in our name. You don't use us for political reasons. Yes, we need to engage the new mayor, this new administration, but we deal with it not politically. And that's really what got our government to succeed, because the idea was to collapse us immediately through every available angle.
Is that why we've been seeing all these disturbances when you have your council meetings?
Yeah, that's why.
But I was horrified when I saw those pictures of blood on the floor. And I was saying, but this is supposed to be the highest decision-making body for local government. And instead, it's actually become a scene where, like a barroom brawl.
Yeah, no, but obviously the idea was to...
There's a whole lot of messages you've lost here, Cameron.
Was to collapse this government, create that perception, an image in society that here's a failed government without people realizing. But our people are not stupid. Our people, when they voted the way they did on the 3rd of August, they did this intentionally.
No, a lot of them are saying that they voted for change. I mean, there's somebody that's sent a WhatsApp here saying, you rock. Mr. Mayor Rose, you are going to get a bigger broom to sweep up all the dirt. God bless you for caring. Muriel from Vleerhof. This person's been on the housing waiting list for 23 years in El Dorado Park. She's a desperate mom. How can we get hold of Mr. Mayor? Please give details. I think we're going to need details of your office, people like Tony and all of that. Where's your support staff so they can give me the details? So I'll read them out to our listeners. Okay. Good day, Mr. Mayor. Why don't council issue land that we could help these people by teaching them to build 1,000 houses? And Michael Eastwood, this is a very interesting thing. This is a person who clearly has artisanal skills and is saying, avail the land, we'll teach the people how to build their own houses. I think this is a wonderful idea. What do you think?
Rosemary, in few months' time, I'll be 58 years of age.
Congratulations.
I grew up, I was born and grew up in a village in Amanskral, where the National Party government completely left it to ourselves. People have been building houses on their own during the dark days of this country's history. Now, why all of a sudden the new democracy came and all of a sudden our people can't do anything for themselves?
And here's
our people can build houses for themselves.
Yes, and
they just need to ensure that government can provide the infrastructure, and then people can build.
But I think this is an excellent idea, and maybe we need to explore it further with your MMC for housing, that there are people in the community that have these skills and that are saying, we are prepared to offer our skills to the community for them to build for themselves.
I think for me, I believe in sustainable initiatives. I'm saying to this person, if you know how to build, when we have this, then go out and open businesses to build for our people at reduced rates.
Okay.
Because then you can sustain it. The thing is, freebies. People must avoid freebies because freebies are not sustainable.
You are really a business person, eh? Because now the business angle, if you're going to supply service stands to people with title deeds,
people will look for cheap, go and open business there, but then you can compete with big companies, then you don't have to charge the same prices as the big companies. But make sure that you generate profits, because if you don't generate profit, sooner you're going to collapse.
And because you live in that community, you'll be the first port of call for people.
You will respect the community. That's
so you're creating local entrepreneurship and jobs.
Absolutely.
You know that it's when are you going to start with the land issue?
I will be announcing this in 3 weeks' time.
Oh, great. Okay. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, please give Zuma a SASSA card. He needs a SASSA. When is the mayor's birthday? We need a Westbury celebration.
26th of August.
So you're going to throw your birthday party here. They've already told you. Please, Mr. Mayor, how do you manage to pay electricity arrears and current when your arrears run into thousands? Your current is also running into the same amount. Please install prepaid meters in Waterval. They want prepaid meters. Good day, Mr. Mayor. How do we get land to open a taxi rank to service our community and ensure the safety of our women leaving early in the morning and returning late in the evening? This person doesn't say where they're from, so I don't know. But clearly there's that as well. I love that one of the SASSA card, don't you?
Mr. Zuma must be, I believe it's a very, very rich man. He needs to tell us one day how he accumulated this wealth in a matter of 10 years, because 10 years ago he was a broke man where he needed everyone else to support him and his family. But all of a sudden what we hear, he's a very, very wealthy man. So
the other thing I want us to touch on, I know your time is up, and thank you for being so generous with your time. The early childhood learning centers. We will, listeners, I know you all have messages. We're going to read the last few messages now because the mayor extended his time by 30 minutes and it's already gone the 30 minutes and we can't do this to him. He's got to go and sort out all these problems you raised. So the early Childhood Learning Centers initiative where you're partnering with Hollard.
With Hollard, yeah.
Can you tell us more about
Yeah,
that?
I think Hollard Foundation has come to the party to work with us as a city to empower entrepreneurs, particularly women, to ensure that they open more and more of this early childhood training, facilities, because as much as education is not our competency, but fortunate enough, this ECD centers, our competency. And we as government, we don't want to run them ourselves. We don't have the capacity. But I think we can play a role when we have good companies like Hollard willing to help with us. We put the money. Our role as government is to ensure that we provide the facilities, we provide the environment for these women to be trained properly. Because ECD center is not about you, Rosemary, leaving your children to be fed. You want when you go work, there must be mental stimulation
and physical stimulation.
Absolutely, that is what. So we're providing them with the right type of educational environment to make sure that these children's lives are stimulated.
But how do people, let's say there are people that want to participate in this initiative, how do they get
Please
involved?
let them get hold of any of our offices with the social development department. Then they're the ones with the specific programs. With going to visit any of our regional offices, government offices, there will be someone dealing with social matters, and you can register. They will then give you the necessary advice of how to enter into this type of program. Because when you run and you are supported by us as government, you've got to make sure that you are accredited. But we will assist you with that process.
This is the last message we're going to read now. Good day, Mr. Mayor Mashaba and Rosemary. Mr. Mayor, could you please send out inspectors to come out to the corner of Park and Diamond Street? The problem is coming on for over 25 years of an open field, and now it's a bush right in front of my house. My complaints and about the problem is the druggies and robbers are using this field to hide, and a trench bin done by JRA with no concern right in front of my door. Please advise where or what can be done. Mr. Mayor, God bless and keep up the good work. Mrs. Karani from Aldo's Proper. So, oh my word, they don't want to stop.
Well, they shouldn't stop. I think please do me a favor if you can get someone in your office put this together, and then I will distribute this complaints and queries to the various departments and get the team to do their best in addressing.
Kofifi listeners, what we need to understand about the role of the executive mayor is the executive mayor looks at the overall, the big picture. He doesn't deal with the detail. But what we're going to do with all your messages today is we're going to print them, we're going to give them to the mayor's office, and then the mayor's office will distribute them to the relevant departments. Where you have given information, I know they'll come back to you because my dealings with them have been very efficient. And where you haven't given details, unfortunately, we won't be able to do anything. But this will be taken up. And Mr. Mayor, I know that you already have your hands on your non-existent hips. On behalf of all the listeners of Kofifi, you heard people listen to Kofifi in the east, in the west, in the north, everywhere. And we want to thank you on behalf of everybody for sacrificing your time, for caring, and just, being passionate about the city of Joburg and wanting to fix it. And if you could say your farewells to your people.
No, thank you very much to Kofifi FM and you in particular for giving me this great opportunity to engage with our communities, because I'm here at their behest, voted into power, and people expect me and my administration to deliver. And I'm asking them, and I'm asking you to ensure that you hold me accountable. 2021 is around the corner. If I think I can get away with it, 2021 is around the corner. Please, in the event of my failure, let me be the first public servant in this country to be punished. Don't vote me back into power. Get someone else. because you cannot allow our communities to be governed by failures. Because if you allow me, give me another 5 years, you can imagine 10 years of your society is gone. So hold politicians accountable. This is when our democracy will mature. That is when politicians will respect you. And I'm availing myself. Let me be the first politician in this country. When I fail to deliver, please vote me out.
And on that note, Kofifi listeners, thank you for allowing our Executive Mayor, Mr. Herman Mashaba, into your homes, your offices, your cars, wherever you are. And thank you for listening and sharing and taking time out to interact with us. And I bid you farewell.
I'm tech savvy. I think big with small devices.